Throughout this process, I learned that the biggest contributing factor to a successful film production is very careful research and planning. Although filming and editing obviously play a vital role in the successful production, you simply cannot produce a successful final product if you haven't planned what you're going to film or researched specific aspects of cinema genre and gotten feedback on certain ideas. You won't know how an audience will respond without research, not to mention the amount of organisation and patience that goes into pulling off a successful production. A prime example of poor organisation leading to an unsuccessful production would be my first edit. The level of importance of these aspects are demonstrated in the differences between my first and final edits. Unfortunately, here's an example of where my match and action did not quite go according to plan. Although they are walking from the same position as where the previous shot left off, I feel as though the shaky camera movement has hindered the potential feeling of continuity, regardless of my use of a tripod. Had the following shots been static, that example of match and action would have felt much more continuous and not interrupted. However, the shot does imply that there is an entity following the couple and the camera is looking from the entity's perspective. Having demonstrated and proved my ability to successfully utilize certain continuity methods during the preliminary task, the eyeline match, match and action, shot reverse shot, and 180-degree rule, I felt comfortable only using specific ones for my final production. I did manage to implement all of them apart from the eyeline match, which simply had no place in my opening sequence. The only real times I felt I could use this method was when the chandelier was swinging or when the cups fell to the floor. However, there was also an aspect of pace which I had to bear in mind in that if I were to include those examples of the eyeline match, I would have increased the pace of the film far too much. The project taught me that despite the potential effectiveness of using all of these continuity methods, it is not always deemed as appropriate in certain circumstances and scenarios. During this process, I learned that even if intertitles are used between most shots, it does not necessarily compromise continuity. I still feel as though the editing in my sequence is predominantly seamless despite the intertitles.